Hi there, it's me, Tori D, and I'm here to budget my second paycheck of December 2022. So, if you are keen-eyed, you may notice that my ready to assign number is a little bit different than my ready to assign from my last video. That's because I had a little bit of overspending that I needed to cover yesterday, and since I budget so far ahead, I knew it technically wasn't going to do me any harm, so I just went ahead and did it. So what I'm going to do to start is just scroll down and check for any overspending or underfunding that's going on during the month of December. Looks like we're doing good. We'll come back to some of that in a little bit after we do my future budgeting ahead. As I mentioned in my last video, I budget as far ahead as I can. It used to be a 3-month ahead budget, but right now I'm going to be sitting at a 2-month ahead budget. So as we can see, we're in February of 2023, and this is where all the yellow kind of starts coming in. So what I'm going to do is I am going to assign everything I need to in these underfunded categories here, get them topped off. Same thing with my food and treats, get those that are underfunded topped back off. Check. This one I can kind of ignore for right now, this yellow one and this yellow one up here, just for my own sanity, since I do have a fair bit of money left. I am going to go ahead into March and start doing a little bit of budgeting there. Not a lot, but there are a couple things I would like to cover. Basically, everything in my subscriptions that I can, I would really like to get those taken care of, particularly the ones that are going to be coming up for renewal. This is a smaller set. My subscriptions are a smaller set of things that are going on, so I feel a little bit more comfortable putting more money into those a little further into the future. So as we can see, that's still leaving me with over $670, almost $680 left to assign in the month of March if I wanted to. So just because I can, we're also going to fund all of the food and treats and half of my dining out category. Actually, we're going to just do all of my dining out category. Let me just go back and double check if I've been doing, yes, I've been doing that at 120. I was doing it at 150 for a while just because it kept, I was doing a lot of travel for class and for work, so I needed a little bit more in that category. But that's still leaving me with over $500 in the month of March, which is pretty great, but I'm actually going to come back to December of 22, which is what we're working with now, to just kind of see what needs adjusted. So I did have some medical spending for my Humira prescription, which is a $5 copay, which is lovely because the actual cost of the medication for 1 month's supply, which is 2 injectable pens, is $12,000. So I have, for part of the year, I use the Humira manufacturer's coupon, which gives it to a $5 copay. And the rest of the year, my insurance gives me a $5 copay, which is great because it's brutal. One of the other things I want to look at here is I also am looking at getting some new toppers for my glasses. So I use Pair Eyewear, which has magnetic clip-on toppers. Clip-on is the wrong word. In a lot of cases, you can't even tell that they're separate from the frames themselves. But I want to buy at least one new topper. So I'm just going to throw another $25 in there. Those toppers are $25 themselves, so I want to get some stuff in there. I do also want to add, since I have the money, some additional money into my giving category, get that up to $50. I have also taken out of my sports and race fees a fair bit this month. I did do a marathon in Huntsville. I did the Rocket City Marathon earlier in the month, and that just took a fair, chunk out. And I just realized I did not want to have $80 in here, so we are going to take that back down. Just want to get it at the level I wanted it funded. I am also going to add probably $50 towards new running shoes. I actually got a really good deal for Black Friday. I got 2 pairs of my preferred shoes for not quite half the price, but pretty close, which was great for me. Race fees and equipment, I don't have any registrations that are coming up, but I will throw $25 in there. Don't have any travel that's coming up. Everything here looks like it is all accounted for. So I have a little bit less in my ready to assign to put into my focus areas, but I am getting further and further ahead, which, as someone who doesn't have fond memories of the 2008 recession, being in 8th grade and still not having good memories of that, I really want to make sure I'm hedging my bets and putting myself in a good financial situation, just in case the worst happens. But we're not going to manifest that. We are just going to continue building that buffer so I can work ahead into the month of March. And so just looking through here, just checking to make sure that everything looks good. I did also move some money around just because I had some odd numbers hanging out in certain categories, and I just wanted to get kind of some flat numbers there for right now. One of the other things that I've talked about last time is we are still waiting for some renovations, some adjustments to be made on the house that I'm looking at purchasing from my parents. We are in the process of kind of doing some adjustments there. So there's going to be some more money kind of coming out of this home and garden. I call it home and garden because that's what I called it when I lived in an apartment, and that was where I bought my plants and pottery from. That was the category for that, but now it's kind of turned into a renovation fund. And so right now we have to get some sewer caps, so then we can get signed off by the sewage authority that everything's in compliance there, which for a house that's over 100 years old, of course there was some weird stuff going on that they had to come out, and it was just a whole ordeal. So we have to do that. We have to fix the front steps, and then yesterday we actually went and fixed some bowing boards on the back porch, so that was fun. I got to bring the sledgehammer, which is a little bit terrifying. The other thing I've realized here is I put $50 in towards my phone. I think I'm going to keep that there just in case. I don't have any near-term plans of purchasing a phone. Knock on wood. I like mine. It's old. It does its job. That's what I need it to do, and it does it. Considering we are approaching the last week of the month, and I'm going to be having a lot of in-house eating, I think my dining out and fun money category should be good. Just got groceries. The only thing that was frustrating about getting groceries is because I have been living with my parents for a while, I haven't been doing my usual grocery hauls. I also am a firm believer in meal prepping. So I went, because I have not been eating the best, because I haven't had access to my prepped foods. So I went and got some hamburg or some ground beef and some chicken, and we cooked that, pre-portioned it, put it in Ziploc bags, and it's in the freezer. But like a 5-pound tube of beef that I used to get for $11 or $12 is now $17. And that's even when I would get it. I think the most recent time I bought a tube of that size was February or March. So the fact that it's gone up almost 50% in that, not even a year is absurd, but we'll make do where we can. So that should be enough to get me through the rest of the month. I will put the additional ready to assign into my current focus area of my emergency fund, which that means that takes me up to $2,385, so almost $2,400, which means I'm 47% of the way towards that saving balance target. That's good news for me. Thinking about how I want to be budgeting ahead and working towards that. Really, the emergency fund topping off at $5,000 is my first of the goals for the year. I think I talked about it in the last video, but I actually realized I didn't adjust this. So I can actually adjust my target down for what I need for my dissertation and coursework. This does technically say dissertation on it, but this is also where I pay whenever I have my classes. So I am actually looking on my phone right now to just see what my cost for my classes in the spring is going to be, and that's going to be about $28.75 total, and my employer will pay $26.25 of that as a reimbursement, which actually reminds me I need to do the reimbursement for the class that I just took this semester. I'm actually going to do that as soon as this is done. But I want to make sure I have about $3,000 in my dissertation fund at all times so I can pay for my coursework, and then eventually I will owe about $2,500 when all is said and done, split over a couple semesters for my dissertation. So I have, in the spring, I have one actual class left, and that is my final course. I have my preliminary or comprehensive exam. I don't know why we call it a preliminary exam whenever it's at the end of our coursework. It's preliminary to our doctoral candidacy, I guess. So I have to take that the week of Martin Luther King Day for a whole week as a take-home exam. And then I also am paying for 3 credits of DIS, or Direct Individualized Instruction, or whatever it stands for, that will then be converted into 3 credits of dissertation hours, contingent on me passing my preliminary exam. So I'll be on the hook for 6 credits worth, but like I said, it's going to be about $2,800, $2,900 total, but my employer is going to pay for $2,600 of that as a reimbursement. And then just looking at my New England cruise amount, yeah, I think that's accurate for what I want to be saving up for, but as we kind of chug-a-lug our way through these, the other thing I also have been making use of in my notes section up here, you may have noticed it, is I anticipate it's very strange. My company operates on a quarter system, but the quarters don't align with the calendar year, but they also don't align with the fiscal year. They're kind of halfway in between. But basically, our first bonus of our fiscal year should actually be finishing up. Kind of the qualification period for that should be finishing up here in December. And then based on how the other 2 bonuses I've had from my company since starting, how they've been paid out, I anticipate them hitting about 2 months later. So kind of that first paycheck of the second month after the qualification period ends. And then the other thing that I'm looking forward to in March is it's also going to be a 3 paycheck month. And as you can kind of see from the way I've been doing my budgeting, I do have enough leeway that 3 paycheck month is really going to help me get to that 3rd month ahead, while also kind of helping me work towards these focus areas and these goals. So I think we're in good shape as we wrap up my last paycheck of 2022. One thing I did mention in my 2023 financial goals video is that I will be getting a 2.8% raise, which is prorated from what my merit raise was based on how long I've been with the company. But within that 2.8% raise, I'm going to take 1% of that and immediately allocate it towards my 401k, which will start matching in April, which is great news. Not the whole amount that I'm contributing, but the 4% employer match will go in there. So that's exciting. And then I will also kind of take the 1.8% that's left and just kind of let it hit. Honestly, most of it will probably be eaten by taxes, so I anticipate my paycheck probably being exactly the same, but that's okay because it is progressing me further and further towards some of my 5-year goals and what I'm working towards there, and it just kind of impacts my overall finances and what my finances will look like and my salary expectations and everything with my company, which is really great news. So not a lot of movement happening here in the last paycheck of 22, but we're happy to let it ride and be in good shape heading into a new year. So if you want, I would love if you could leave, what are your current focus areas? What are you working towards right now? If you want to go ahead and leave those in the comments, and we can kind of chat about what our different goals are and what our areas of focus are to see where folks are at on their journey. And I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to say, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.